first and foremost, we want to thank all of you for even being here. I know you all are very busy with everything else you got going on in your lives. So we're very grateful that you're here. So if you don't know where you're at, welcome to the Scholarship Reviewer Training. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So just a little bit of an overview. We'll do, our welcome, our best to make you feel welcome. Do some quick introductions. We'll kind of go over, what even ACES is, the mission. We'll kind of talk about the scholarships and dive into the applications. And then the scoring rubric, you should have received a rubric in the email, kind of how we score everything based of our students that do apply. We'll do a review, a walkthrough. It's promise it's not going to be hard. We're going to try to keep this as simple as possible. We'll talk about next steps, and then we'll open the floor for any questions that you might have. All right. So before we get started, my name is Dr. James Wagnon. I'm a Cherokee Nation citizen from Tahlequah, Oklahoma. I'm currently serving as a senior program officer for scholarships and internships for the student success team, but I'm actually on my way out. I'm within my 2 weeks right now, just because I have an opportunity to help my people closer to home, my Cherokee people. But I'm really happy to be here with you guys and to share the space. I don't want to put her on the spot, but Anita, if you want to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Wagner. Hi, everyone. I'm Anita Positoka Smith, and I currently serve as the Student Success Program Manager here at AISES. And I assist Dr. Wagner with anything and everything scholarship related. I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad you guys have volunteered to do this for us this year. We appreciate you very much.
Yeah, and you don't have to, but if you want to chime in, let us know where you're coming from, give us a little background on you, that'd be cool. You can put it in the chat or you can unmute and introduce yourself to everyone because y'all will be in this together. So
Hi, everybody. My name is Callie Dale. I'm a product of ACES, recipient of past scholarships, so happy to give back on this opportunity.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Kayla Maxey, also a product of ACES. And there was opportunity for me to give back with some work that I had previously been doing.
oh, Lynette, I think your mic is the audio is not coming through. We know you're great. Lynette's helped us out a lot. We know Lynette's great. So anybody else? You don't have to. Don't feel obliged. I don't want this to feel like class. Hey, we're going back and forth, but going once, going twice. Awesome, awesome. Good to see you, Galen. Happy you're here. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. All right. If you don't know, we are a national nonprofit organization, and our whole purpose of being here is to increase the representation of American Indians, Alaska Natives, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders, First Nations, and other indigenous peoples of North America in STEM. That is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Our whole our goal, right, is to advance indigenous peoples in STEM, period. So short, simple, sweet, that's who we are, that's what we're doing. A little bit of background, won't go into this in its entirety, but ACES was founded in 1977 and has continued to grow with membership, the national conference, partnering up with all realms really of STEM for our indigenous students to excel in. Again, that is why we're here. That's why we've signed up. That's why, we want to just keep expanding and keep growing. As a few of you have mentioned, right? That's the purpose. And then that giving back, that reciprocity. And which is cool about our department, the student success team, is that we've helped award over $11 million in academic scholarships to our students, and we're just gonna they're going to keep them moving. So excited for that. All right, so let's get to the nitty gritty. So this year we have over 1,600 applications that we have to review. And this is kind of the breakdown of how those things come about as far as like scholarships go. So as you can see, they're listed 1 through 9, and that's specifically looking into ARDC, ATA, which is our big scholarship, BNSF, the first scholarship, Google, IPEF, Polaris, Rise, Sports and Technology. The numbers that you see on the side here are the number of scholarships that we're going to be able to give out. So for example, for ARDC, we have 123 applications that need to be reviewed by you guys, but only, well, not but right, which we could award everyone. But 12 students will be selected as scholars. Similarly, for example, like BNSF, 104 applications need to be reviewed. 16 lucky ones will be, yeah, noted as scholars. And so this is, again, just a breakdown, really showing you it's a lot, and that's why you're here. And that's why we, again, are very grateful for you guys because it's amazing. We want to award everyone and all the stories, but it's just the way it goes. Um, so a little bit of background as far as the ranking process. So all of our scholarships are reviewed twice. It says at least 2 reviewers, but it's going to be reviewed twice. That's just kind of the rules that we follow. And those scores are going to be averaged out based off 100. So as you're going through, and again, we'll go over this rubric, you'll score it, right, 1 through 100. Someone else is going to come along, review that same application, and same thing. We'll score it 1 through 100. We take the average of those, and dependent on the funder or the partner that we're working with, they might want to see the top 30, or they might want to see the top 50, whatever it is that the requirement is. We usually take the highest ranked from our finalists, and yeah, we'll either send them to the funders or right, we have the go ahead to make those selections ourselves. Then the students are notified that they are finalists and they have to accept, send some required documents, and then they officially become AISES scholars, and we release the funds in September on a rolling basis. So that's kind of a little bit about the ranking process and what we'll be doing. Any questions thus far just on the material I've covered? Again, there's more coming. Just want to pulse check real quick. So far, so good? Yeah, cool. All right. And so again, back to the rubric, which I'll cover in just a second. We recognize that GPA and letters of rec and the involvement that some of the students have, it's great, right? We want our students to be actively involved on campus, and we want them to have great grades and stuff like that. But, right, we recognize that it's not inherent to who we are as Indigenous peoples, especially when it comes to our values. And so really, as you're reading these stories and as you'll be doing the going through the applications, we really encourage you to look at students holistically. And does that mean we solely focus on GPA? It matters to an extent, but not really, as much as it does where we're looking at where they're coming from relationally, and within community. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So I had sent this out in an email initially, but this is all going to be based off that 100 score overall. Again, you can tell that like we don't really prioritize, I'll go back in a second, GPA that highly. You'll get 5 points if you have a 4.0. And again, those things do matter. Similarly, right, with the personal essays, if you can write a personal essay that's strong, that's great. But really what we're getting at here is we want to see how well the student does at potential impact and that understanding of responsibility. So as you're going through the reads, try to keep these things in mind. So for example, right, relationship, how well is the student understanding about that impact of their community? For a lot of us, we don't go into these fields thinking solely about how we're going to make the most money, or, it's never individualized. but we very much try to keep our communities at the forefront. And I think that's what this rubric is getting at. So how well are they carrying that, keeping that in mind as they're moving, thinking of their community, that broader impact in the world, that responsibility. There's a huge responsibility that we have in regard to not only having our success in the academies, but also to each other, those relationships. And then that giving back. You already heard it here, right? With students who have been awarded in the past wanting to give back. And so that reciprocity is huge as far as, because we know it helps with growth and the betterment of our communities and things like that. So what you're going to see is that a lot of the emphasis is placed on those things. So again, the relationship, the responsibility, reciprocity. And as you can see, those are scored the highest because they're out of 25. Whereas like letters of reference, it's going to be 10 points, especially if it's like a strong written letter, they highlight that student's strength, the impact that they're having in their community. Those are good. Again, the personal essays, yes, I guess the grammatical stuff kind of matters. Not really as much as it does, again, about that impact. We want students who not only have that persistence and drive, but more so carrying that responsibility, reciprocity in those relationships. Does that make sense so far? Okay. So now I'm going to walk you through what's going to happen when you receive an email. So you'll get a portal link, a scholarship portal link. Back to those scholarships that I had shared. So there is a portal link. Excuse me, I'm going crazy over here. There's a portal link specifically for each of these. We had shared out in the email that you each will get about 35 reads. Let's say, right, for the first 5, that's going to be 7 per one. So you might get, these 5 for ARDC, ATA, BNSF, might be for RISE, sports and technology. It's going to range, essentially. But you'll get an individual link for those. And that's how you're going to complete your assignment. One moment, I got to switch over. So for example, you'll receive an email like this from that student success email, basically saying thank you again for helping us with the scholarship reviews. And these links are going to look like this. So you can kind of see the ends in the application that they're referring to. So ARDC, ATA, etc. And when you click on that, you're going to be prompted to a screen that's going to ask you to sign in. If you've reviewed for us in the past, you're just going to have to log into that old account and you'll be ready to go. Your assignments will already be there. These will not open until June 2nd. So right now we're kind of just getting you ready. We gave you the manual that kind of goes over this, but yeah, those won't be available till June 2nd, and you'll have June 30th to get those reads in. But when you do sign in, it's going to look like this. You'll have a list of students that you need to go through, and we're just going to click review. Hopefully your Wi-Fi is faster than mine, but it's going to pull up this, right? And on this feedback, this is where that rubric is going to come into play. So everything we just talked about is going to be right here on the right side, that relationship, the responsibility, reciprocity, letters of reference, personal essays, et cetera, et cetera. You don't need to worry about the admin fields. We just need you to review and score on this side. What I like to do personally before I start reading anybody's essays is I always kind of go to the letter of recs first. When you click on the letter of rec, they'll have like an I. And remember, every application should have at least one. We filtered to make sure they had one, but at least 1 or 2. And you'll click the I, form attachments, reference letter, and I just kind of did a placeholder. But it'll have the student's letter of rec from the recommenders, and then you kind of just repeat the process. And then you'd click on the second one, which would be similar to this one, form attachments, reference letter, and you're, again, reading it, and you're kind of getting that sense of, is this a strong letter? If you're not sure, just have this up here. Are they speaking to that impact? Is this person speaking to, the potential that this student has? Things of those sort. So that'd be the letter of rec. And then after I've read it, I usually go to the app. And then you just scroll down to the essay portion, because that's where kind of the meat is. And as you can see, I wrote an amazing essay. So some of the questions that we've asked, right, is for students to share a personal statement that highlights their background, achievements, career interests, what activities are they involved with, why are they involved, did they choose the specific major, all those things. What do they intend to do with the study? And that's really to get back to this. So you'll read these. I've had people score it as they're reading. I've had people just read it all the way through and they kind of keep that in their, take mental notes, and then they'll come on this side and just start scoring. Again, we ask those questions for you to keep in mind. So if we were scoring James's application, how well did he do with, again, that breadth and depth of impact, understanding? I felt like he did pretty good. So, 25, that responsibility, does he understand that responsibility that he's carrying to his communities, and that determination to succeed, that leadership? I think he did pretty good. So 25, so on and so forth. You just, would come in here and again, follow these rubrics. It will not let you provide anything over 100. As great as our students are, it does not. So just make sure you keep those in mind. We'll do 3. So as you can tell right here, has 98. And if you want to add reviewer notes, after we've scored, so for example, right, you can totally have a student be featured in publications, and you could write, this student is amazing, or what have you. On the other side of it, if there's a student that maybe like you kind of scored lower, we do like that feedback as well, just because it helps us in the future as far as like, how to adjust and help our students, because we want them to get funded. We want all of them to get funded. So, and then after you're done, you would just hit submit. And then you would go back to your listings and start again. Does that make sense so far? I know I'm just putting a lot of information on y'all at once. And again, we'll share this recording. You have the manuals as well. And we'll keep at it. So again, each of you, in a perfect world, I have my fingers crossed for us, Anita, for you guys. Everybody will have 35 reads to go through. And again, you're going to get, different portal links. They're all set up the same. So you would just click on those and just go through that process like we just did. Deadline is June 30th. And to reach out to Anita or Dr. Johnny Pula, the director, if you have any questions on it. So now, I know that is really fast, but we wanted to ensure that like we had enough time in case I had to do another walkthrough, or in case, people had a lot of questions. And again, I know that's a lot. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. Comments or concerns, please feel free to ask away. That is what we are here for. So, and if you don't, I have a list of questions that I've gotten in the past that I can ask too. Yes.
For vetting the recommendation letters, so you guys already screened them. Is there like a vetting process with that, or
we've already made sure that every student has an application. We made sure that they were actually letters of reference. As far as quality, we didn't do that part of it, because that's where you guys will come in and help us out. So if that makes sense. Jessica asks if students see the reviewer notes, or is it only ACES staff? Students will not see the reviewer notes. It's hidden on the application, so yeah, if there's any amount of feedback that you have, you don't have to worry about students seeing that. It only goes to us. Um, if we complete our 35 early, can absolutely. We will never hesitate on having anyone go above and beyond just because, right? It's a lot. It's a lot of applications and it's a team effort, literally a team and community effort. So if you finish early, please let Anita or Johnny know and they will absolutely help with the reassignment. So yes. And that's another piece of advice. Start early because I know for me, um I like the pressure. I know some of us are procrastinators. I like that pressure of whenever the deadline gets closer, but you also have to keep in mind that like they're on a time crunch to get numbers out to funders. So yes, start early. You can do one a night, two a night, whatever it is. Reads will take anywhere between 10 minutes, if that. I mean, once you get your own little system going, like, and you're in it and the flow is going, yeah, I've seen people knock these out pretty quickly. Yeah. Please send any questions to that student success at AISES.org, just because both Anita and Johnny have access to that inbox and it's easier for them to keep up with. Any other questions? Again, I have a list if you guys have any concerns. It's not our first rodeo, so
Mhm. I have a question real quick. If
yeah.
any of our reviewers need like documentation proving that they took time to do this for ACES, do we have a form that we can send on their behalf?
Yeah. We
Okay,
can
perfect.
absolutely create a letterhead, have a letterhead and a form for you guys on that as well. Yes, absolutely. Just make sure you communicate that to us on the student
Yeah,
success.
yeah.
So, okay, so one example, kind of pivoting a little bit of a question that we get is like the use of AI. So as it currently stands, we don't have a policy in place that prevents students from using AI. However, I have had reviewers in the past that read, the stories and they're so right. I mean, a lot of us can tell when AI is being written because it doesn't sound human. I have had reviewers in the past dock students a couple points just because, in the notes they explained that they could understand the AI being used for organization, but they didn't really get a sense or a feel of like who the student was because it wasn't their voice. Um, so things like that, right? Um, and then just making us aware so we can keep that on our notes moving forward. Oh, or another one, what do people do if there are only one letter of rec or if an institution does not keep up with GPA? We do baseline neutral. So if a student only has one letter of rec, we do the middle of what they've received and same for GPA. Just because again it averages out between two people reviewing it, but also because we don't emphasize we're not emphasizing GPA heavy here as much as we are about the essays and those impacts. So hopefully that makes sense. Any other questions?
Oh, not that this might be an outside thing. What if we find one of the applications is like a conflict for us, conflict of interest, maybe family member or tribal member too close
Yeah,
to
yeah,
home?
yeah. No problem at all. You would just let Anita or Johnny know, or email that student success email, let them know, and then they'll pivot. They'll reassign it, and
Okay.
yeah, get you elsewhere. So,
Okay. Sweet.
but also be upfront about those things because I know it's Indian country and like we're all related to everybody. So like, definitely, absolutely, yeah. To Chris's point, definitely communicate that to us. Any other questions? I know we went through that pretty quickly, but I think it's simple and I think you guys are going to do great. I've had people, I don't know, people get really excited about this time of the year because yeah, I mean, our students are, I always say they're going to change the world. I know they're going to change the world, but they're pretty amazing, especially when you get to read, what they're wanting to do. It's hard, especially when, again, we want to award everybody, but we can't. So, all right. Well, I'm going to stay on. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask away. Again, I'll resend you have the rubric. I'll send this recording to everybody as well. So if you need a kind of a refresher, definitely use this to walk through as a resource. Don't forget, we also have tomorrow. So if, you're just like, I'm not quite sure, you can also hop on tomorrow. It'll be the exact same thing. Yeah. All right. We appreciate every single one of y'all, truly. We really do. So if you have any questions, just let us know. All right, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you.